My lemon squeezies. Here I am with the brain. It's currently wet and raining and miserable outside. I'm not really sure if you can see the rain, but it's there. I might see if I can get a better angle. Yeah, it's raining quite heavily. So me and my brother just went to the pond so he could get the Tron soundtrack and I could get out a couple of books. Will Grayson and the Abundance of Catherine, both by John Green. Yeah, the bus right now is four minutes away, and it's wet and cold and miserable. I want it to be now. I'm lucky the numbers of who is watching this. I know for a lot of people that might not seem that much, but for someone with only 16 subscribers, that's kind of good. I don't unmute it.
Good morning, my lemon squeezies. Let's go out.
There we go. Oh, well, we're gonna load. But yeah, so that's myself. I feel quite cool, if you know what I mean. I'm also currently watching Elsie and Charles, the winner of the Australian X Factor, live recording something. I think he's recording an album. I don't know. Yeah, so I promised myself I wouldn't cry, and I'm not going to. You know that feeling that you get, like, at the end of something? Like a really good book, or like a really good TV series or something. Like at the end of the day, even though I haven't watched Hannah Montana in quite a while, I watched like 8 episodes. I watched like every episode catching me up on Hannah Montana forever. So now I've seen every episode of Hannah Montana once or more. But you still get that sort of feeling, like even if you do watch the last episode of something that you've only been watching like 3 times, and you watch the last episodes, you get that sort of feeling like it's over, and you feel slightly more uplifted to know that era of your life is gone, but also a tad sad because you know that the thing which you have watched for so long, or you have read for so long, or you have been entranced with for so long is now over. Like, I know I wasn't really able to watch Friends from the start, but I have seen every episode of that because of all the replays. But every time at the end of that series, at the end of the final episode, you always get that feeling like it's going, like it's sad. The only time the same thing happened with Lost, which, you know, but that was kind of an uplifting, as though it was a weird storyline. The only time I've ever cried properly at the end of something, like I've cried at the end of books, like I told you I cried at the end of Paper Towns, but the only time I've actually seriously cried at the end of something was a show which I was completely dedicated to called The Last Airbender, which I'm sure a lot of you know, Avatar The Last Airbender, and that was the only time I actually wept in sadness for the end of something, because I was as funny and as geeky and as dorky and as wimpy as it sounds, I was naturally and positively depressed at the end of it. Yes, it had a happy ending, but it was still very sad. Now, I've seen every episode of The Last Airbender over 40 times, but every time I watch the whole series from start to finish, and I get to the last episode again, even if I just do watch the last episode, when the words "the end" come up at the top of the screen, I still get a tad teary. Yeah. And but thing is, if you're playing a video game or if you're watching a movie that you know finishes, that doesn't really happen. It's because in books and in TV shows and whatnot, you get entranced with the characters, and so you know them better. And with movies that are like a series, like X-Men, even though you know it's the end, you've waited like a year or whatever for that to happen. And I'm sure at the end of when Twilight finishes, the whole Twilight saga, or when Harry Potter finishes, then everyone will be sad and a few people will cry. But that's because that's what people have grown up with, and you know they have seen that so many times, and those things have more of a cult sort of following, like I have for The Last Airbender. And so it's very sad, but it's very uplifting, as I said. Yeah.